listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. Today, we're going to talk about the sun and how you can use this really intense energy in the best ways for your daily life. We're going to discuss how you can use it for confidence, attractiveness, personal empowerment, and a special form of vision. We'll also discuss the dark side of using too much sun energy that you probably haven't thought about. Stay tuned. We are married intuitives with over 20 years experience who created the Ecosystem Approach for you. This is much different because we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be restored instead of programmed. We show you how to take an energy approach for internal discovery that is rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Jason, the sun is such a big part of daily life for all of us. We live our days based on whether it's sunny or whether it's not. Let's talk about what the sun has to say.
We're going to talk about that, but I grew up in Minnesota, and I still have contacts there. We have clients there.
Yes,
that
we
sort
do.
of thing. And this I got to get out of here. January, February, because it's like this gray overcast.
Oh yeah,
and it affects people. People go nuts.
Yes, they do.
Without sun, whether you're living in Minnesota, you're in a Turkish prison, it doesn't matter. You need that sun.
Yes.
And one of the nice things about the area that we live in now, which is just outside of Yosemite in California, it's sunny. Even when it's overcast, usually we get a few hours of sun somewhere or another,
and usually almost every day.
Yeah.
So yes,
it's a big deal. So when we talk to the sun, and there's so much information there, and we're going to grab the highlights here.
Yes, we are.
So we make it usable for you, but
right.
It likes to be used in big, expansive ways. It doesn't want to be used for trite things,
Right.
It hates being used in ways that are unfitting to its power, its stature.
That's correct.
And some people call that arrogance. We're going to talk some more about that a little bit, but the sun is the biggest thing in the solar system.
That's true.
So it's
hence the solar system.
It's not arrogance, really. It's just a fact. Just a fact, ma'am. It's just
exactly.
That's just the way it is.
Yes.
But it's also, the light from the sun is also a perfect metaphor of good and bad, because the sun can be healing. It makes you feel happy. Alive. Yes.
Yeah.
It can create electricity and makes things grow.
Yes.
Without the sun, her garden would be very unhappy. Yes. And it can keep you warm in the winter.
Yes, it's true.
When it's a bazillion degrees below zero outside. Again, I'm remembering Minnesota.
Yeah.
Just sun coming into a room,
right,
can really warm it up even when it's that cold. So
and I'm sorry, I have to say, one time we had visited Minnesota for several reasons, but it had been gray for about 5 days. We were there for a little more than a week, I think. And I said to him, and I didn't even realize, I'm from California, everybody. And I said, is this that gray that you were talking about? And the answer wasn't, yeah, it is. It was, yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So the negative side of the sun is that it can literally burn you to death.
That is correct.
Yeah, we saw this movie lately about they strap someone down on the ground and just rode away. The idea that the sun would kill them.
Yes.
It was pretty ghoulish,
Yes.
When there's a disruption on the surface of the sun, this is my area, the electronics go out, you have radios and disruptions and communications and literally you learn this as little kids. You can't just look at the sun directly.
It will blind you. That is exactly right.
So,
and what about in emotional terms, Jason?
Well, I mean, blind you from the truth is extending that metaphor.
Okay.
With too much clarity can be overwhelming, and then you can't see anything.
Yes.
So, okay, it doesn't like to be compared to planets, because there is no comparison. True. It likes big ideas. So, if you're going to use it, big confidence, big change, upstages all the other planets because their energy is smaller and less significant.
Okay.
It has a reputation for arrogance, but we talked about that. It just is. It's not arrogant if you're the king of the jungle, you're the king of the jungle.
Exactly.
That's all there is to it.
Yes.
So we see that sun energy can be used for confidence. When you've got the sun behind you, you've got this.
Yes.
But too much confidence is arrogance again.
Yes, but I also see that the sun, well, in its way, it demands respect. If you don't respect the elements or the properties of the sun, you could be in big trouble. But when you do respect it, you can gain an understanding not only of the sun itself, but an understanding of yourself.
Yes, and if you understand that the sun rules the astrology sign of Leo.
Yes.
If you're a Leo out there and you're adding sun energy, there's nothing wrong with that, but just be careful in human terms. Too much of that could be perceived as arrogance.
Correct.
In a way that even though it may be true, it still can be off-putting to other people.
Well, one of the things I like about the sun energy connected to Leo is someone who has a major amount of Leo in their chart. Thank you. They can walk into a room, they don't have to say a word. Their presence becomes known. It's just there. That's not arrogance. It is what it is.
So it, big ideas, confidence. It's also for big changes. I see this here all the time, and this is a guy thing. Okay, I admit, but when there's a big bulldozer, a big grapple, it can do a lot of big work.
Yes, it can.
We see people doing tree work here all the time. They don't come in with small little implements. They have big things to lift the big trunks and all those things. It's great for big change.
I agree.
The other thing is that there's an attractiveness to it.
Oh,
we were talking about Minnesota
because it shines light on everything around.
Yes.
And when you have the correct degree of light, there's beauty everywhere.
Well, and again, there's always a double sword with the sun. With too much, it can wash out everything else.
That is correct. That is correct. Yes.
So another way to use that is personal empowerment.
Talk about that one.
If you're trying to say, okay, I need to put myself out there. I need to be bigger. I need to be bold. I need to be there. Sun energy can be really good.
Nice.
And it doesn't ever waffle in terms of the amount of power it has. It's always there. It is and more than enough.
Yes.
And it's also great for vision. We don't think of the sun energy for vision, but if you want to, we watch all these overlanding shows now, but if you're out in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night,
right,
all these Jeeps have all these lights on the front and on the bumper and on the side, so everything is lit up. That reminds me of the sun. When you put all that light to a certain area, things you can't live in the shadows. Those issues that need to come forward can't be in the shadows anymore.
Well, could you say that the sun has a way of showing the truth? Would you say that as being a true
It
statement?
does. Yes,
Okay.
it can.
It can.
Again, it can wash out everything else.
Sure, of course.
So there's nothing there. The other thing is sometimes the truth that needs to be exposed is very subtle, and sometimes you can't bring forth that subtlety that way.
Right. Right. Well,
but it's also vision. We don't think of vision in terms of the sun, but
no, not at all.
If you have a big idea, we're gonna stop global warming. We're gonna stop poverty. That sort of thing.
Right.
Those big ideas can be really benefited by the sun energy. So
well, because in just those two alone, if you don't have the sun to see what the truth of everything is, then you're not going to get anywhere.
Yes,
you're not going to make changes.
And if you're motivated or if you're being called to do something big,
yes,
you might want to use a lot of sun energy.
Exactly.
So take a minute right now and just take a deep breath and try and think to yourself, okay, how can I use sun energy for me personally?
Yes.
How can I use it in my life?
Yeah.
Because that's the best use. That's the big use for you personally.
Exactly. So in fact, I would say for those who just did that, I see that a lot of people out there, when you said that, they went, oh, I'm not sure I want to see the truth of everything because I'm afraid. And in the clearings,
a little bit of sun can help you with courage.
It really, really can. So all right, Jason, what are the quick tips of this segment?
The sun is unlike anything else in the universe. It's bigger, brighter, and more powerful than the planets.
Correct.
Use the energy sparingly and with discretion.
Yes.
When used in the best way, it can be a source of confidence. It can be attractive and have vision. It is the number one energy for personal empowerment and can support a person in a lifelong journey to do something and have the best things of the world. Using the sun energy is always a double-edged sword because when overused, it can be harmful and disruptive.
All right. In the next segment, we're going to talk about using the elements in astrology and how the sun, being a fire sign, fits into your other astrology. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show, unscripted, with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about using the elements in astrology and how the sun, being a fire sign, fits into your other astrology. Okay, Jason, what are the elements in astrology?
Okay.
And by the way, I'm fascinated by this.
It's really important information.
It is.
And the elements, it gives you a different perspective on astrology.
Meaning of how to look at something.
Yes.
Okay.
Not only do you have your sun sign, people know their birth sign, so to speak. Usually. And so your birth sign has an element to it that talks about what it's like. So if and there's 4 elements. So let's talk about those elements and you kind of get the idea. And
okay.
If it's confusing to you, if this is the first time you've ever heard this, come back and listen to the show again. Listen to the segment again. Listen to it over a couple times because we're going to put out a lot of information. So there's 4 elements: earth, water, fire, and air. And it's a vocabulary in astrology that helps you understand subtle energies just with a little more detail, with a little more nuance.
Okay.
And when you learn to use your planetary toolbox, understanding the elements can help you know which energies to apply.
Okay.
For example, the sun energy, which rules Leo, is fire. But we're gonna start with Earth first. Okay. Earth signs are when you have an Earth sign, it has innate persistence and practicality, stability, consistency, doesn't take things too personally. It's there, it's solid. Okay. They're more cautious in their approach. They're practical, realistic. They need a solid footing before going forward. Taurus will dig in the heels and really ponder things. Virgo will analyze. Capricorn will climb, but they will do it without first having a vision and a plan and organized structure. Earth signs are dependable, thorough, solid. They seek to engage the physical world and master it through efficient organization, and seek economic security. That's a big thing for an earth sign. Respect, prestige, and they work hard for it. Solid. It just, when you start to understand earth signs, you can just feel that earth. Okay. Water. It's the inner worlds of visions, dreams, memories. It's naturally receptive to their surroundings. They can be moody, hypersensitive, peacefulness, perpetual nostalgia, personal and emotional. They see everything through a personal emotional lens, and their experience of life is very subjective. It's about how they feel about it, which can be very frustrating for other types. Water signs respond to energy almost unconsciously. They are deeply emotional. Cancer is motivated to nurture and be nurtured. Scorpio has an intense vision, never swaying, always looking straight ahead with a laser-like focus. Pisces is the trickiest to describe. It's like a chameleon absorbing all of its surroundings. Very, very sensitive. So that's water. Fire, which I know a lot about because I'm a Sagittarius sun and an Aries rising. Both fire signs, Sagittarius and Aries. The creation, energy, vitality. They can be very spontaneous, enthusiastic, inspired, optimistic, and joyful. It just really annoys Patricia that I get up in the morning and I'm happy. It just annoys her, but it's very fire signish. They respond to energy very quickly. They favor action. They're ready to go, take a risk, start a business, go on a trip. They're confident, idealistic, intense. They approach life with zest and enthusiasm. There's an energy to conquer, lead, travel physically and mentally. And the Aries must act. Leo must lead grandly, which is with pomp and circumstance. Sagittarius explores the unknown places and ideas. So that's fire. Air. They think logically rather than emotionally. They can be indecisive, fickle. Life is like a puzzle. They're always figuring things out. Intellectual, curious, stimulating, provoking. If the solitaire game on Patricia's phone could be worn out, it would be by now. Because when she has 2 minutes, she's well,
and what happens for me is that if I'm looking for an answer to something, if I sit down and play a game, in other words, some sort of a puzzle, what happens is that there's the part that's in front, but it's the part that's back here that is going, okay, now what about this and what about that? Not about the game, but what I want an answer to. And it works for me.
So air signs approach energy mentally. They're thinkers. They're also social. They're ready for a new relationship or friendship. They love learning, but they bore easily. Gemini has great intellectual curiosity, but too many priorities and personalities. Libra is a partnership driven, but not in an emotional way. Aquarius is popular with friends and unstoppable when it comes to being a champion for a cause. Gemini. They have too many personalities. Oh my gosh, Gemini just. So air signs are into ideals and people. They're communicative, and they must share information, interact with others, and influence society.
It's true.
Oh my gosh, it's just always going. So here's some things to understand about the different elements.
Well, and for the Earth, what are the Capricorn and who else? What other signs are the Earth signs? I know Capricorn is one. Taurus.
Capricorn will climb, Virgo will analyze, and Taurus will dig in its heels and ponder things.
I didn't quite hear that part. So, that's why I asked.
So what's also important about the different elements, is, for example, I'm a Sagittarius, which is fire. My moon sign is Scorpio, which is water. And my rising sign is Aries, which is fire. I've always had a problem because water and fire don't mix very well. So in other words, water can put out fire, and fire can burn up water.
Correct.
You can boil a pot dry if
You sure
you
can.
apply enough heat to it.
Correct.
Okay. So I've tried to find a balance for myself by creating a metaphor where I've got my water, which is like a babbling brook, next to a bonfire on the bank that peacefully coexist.
Yeah.
They're not at odds. It's not one or the other. They peacefully coexist. And that's the best way for me.
I like the way that sounds. I like the way that even feels. It's very nice. Yes, definitely.
And air and fire mix really well together. She's all air. I have that fire. So when we get together, just the air and the fire get whipped up, and people see it. Earth and water kind of go together. Earth is solid. Water can just flow over Earth
and
easily,
it can gain different perspectives.
Yes,
and on those lines, yes.
Air and water, for example, that's a tsunami.
Sure, or a hurricane.
Well, that's when the waves get whipped up.
Right.
You do have earthquakes. Nothing really causes an earthquake from air, fire, and water, but fire and earth kind of go together because fire can rise up and then slow down and rise up and slow down, and earth doesn't care. It's still the same.
It's true.
Nice. So it just you can understand the different elements. Air science can create tornadoes and hurricanes,
just by a few words.
Yes. Whoa, there it goes, and then you've heard the expression dead air, which is not for radio, but for when there's no movement of air, it just can feel really uncomfortable. So air likes to move,
Yes, it does. Yes, so it does.
It just gives you an idea of thinking about how these different signs work. So when you're looking at the planetary energies and you know that the sun is fire, for example, Jupiter is fire.
Yes.
Mars is fire. That's the Aries. You kind of get an idea of how to combine those, based on the situation for you, or for your chart, or what your other signs are. So
yeah, I like that. So Jason, what is the quick tip for this segment?
The elements hold the key to using planetary energies and applying sun energy in the best way. Earth represents stability and consistency. Water is emotional and is comfortable with visions, dreams, and memories. Fire is spontaneous, enthusiastic, inspired, and air is intellectual, curious, stimulating, and provoking. By the way, Patricia can get me going. Talk about provoking. She can get me going. It's so easy for her. It just, she doesn't even have to try very hard, because she can just blow on that fire and all of a sudden, woo, and vice versa.
I was going to say, and vice versa. But the other thing is I've also learned I can see that fire starting to roar up, and I also can use the elements of who I am to calm that fire down. I can
sometimes,
sometimes, but in a very positive way is what I'm saying. So
understanding these elements adds a dimension to a more complete understanding of subtle energies, but it's really important when you're trying to apply these elements to. So what planetary energies do I use in this situation?
Correct. Well, and I don't know if we have time to talk about that right now, but I think in the next segment, we're going to talk about how to use the elements in the best way for a situation that happens instantaneously.
Yes.
Things like that. I really like that. So with that said, in the next segment, we're going to talk about using sun energy in your daily life. And now that you have the tools to use other planetary energies, how to put it all together to make it useful for you. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show, unscripted, with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about using sun energy in your daily life. And now that you have the tools to use other planetary energies, how to put it all together and make it useful for you. So, okay, Jason, how do you put it all together when it comes to planetary energies?
Okay, I think this is important because if you've been listening for a while, you've heard we've been channeling all these different planets.
Yes, we have.
We're going to finish up in the next couple months and get them all. So we have this toolbox of all these planetary energies. So how do you start? Where do you go?
Yeah,
that's what we're going to talk about right now.
Okay.
So first of all, one place to go is what's known as your natal chart. If you don't know what that is, it's no big deal. But it tells you what your sun sign is, your moon sign is, and your ascending sign at the very least. Okay. If you're interested, sign up right now for our free section. Go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org. Sign up for a free section. In this week's newsletter, I'll put a link to a company that we don't have any really connection with, other than we've been using their. You get a natal chart for $4.95, and it's a really
it's actually
it's really comprehensive, like 35 pages, and it tells you all about yourself and that sort of thing.
It's worth it.
It's like $5, and they send it to you in an email. So so go ahead and sign up for that free section. You get that link. But so if you don't know your natal chart, most people know what their sun sign is, or their
in other
sign.
Words, what month you were born in, and that's your sun sign.
So and if you know, then you should know the energy of that sun sign. So if you're a Libra, this month is Libra. That's an air sign. Next month is Scorpio. That's a water sign. The month after that is Sagittarius. And that's fire sign. So that's all available via the internet.
Correct.
So start with that. Your sun sign, moon sign, your ascending sign, or just that. Now, if you happen to know a lot about astrology, here's my warning to you. You can really overthink this. You can really go nuts. And you start talking about the angles. Well, my sun sign and my moon sign are a square relationship and blah, 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 blah. Don't do any of that. That's way too complicated. That you miss the point, okay?
Correct.
Just so we know that Patricia's a Libra, air. I'm a Sagittarius, fire, and we start from there usually, and then we look at the situation. I was talking about your family this morning. We were talking about our family, and I was saying, well, they act like they're very emotional. So if you look at them not from just the detail, what everyone's individual sun sign, but you just kind of look at it from afar.
A big picture.
Yes, from a distance. They're very emotional. So you have the women in the family are very emotional. They always, it's all about babies and birthdays and funny pictures and there's jokes and there's cat videos and all those very emotional things. And then the men over here are kind of are much more logical, just probably to balance it all out. But they're anyway. So you have that. But looking at it from a general point of view, it looks like water. So if I was going to apply planetary energies to this family to balance it out, I would probably avoid planets that are watery. Emotional. I would probably use more earth, maybe some fire,
and a little bit of air.
Yes. That's one way of using it. Try and avoid creating rules for yourself as you're hearing me talk about this. Here's the best way to do it. Okay. Is to use your intuition. And I think you have a really good example because we've just started doing this ourselves, and we're practicing with it.
Yes.
And so you started with Venus energy.
Yes, I did.
Because Venus rules Libra, which is her sun sign.
That is correct.
And it's also her ascending sign. So you use a lot of Libra. So what was your experience using Venus?
Well, in the beginning, it was like I didn't really understand it. And I did some reading about it and tried to understand it from that perspective. But the next thing that I did was By the way, from my understanding, Venus is always the brightest star in the galaxy, so to speak, that you can see.
Well, it's not a star, but it's a planet.
Excuse me, it's a planet.
It's bright in the horizon.
It's
when you're
very
standing
bright,
from Earth.
yes.
Yeah.
And so that immediately says to me, oh, this is very strong. And then I started using my intuition to ask, while I was looking at the planet, what is this strength telling me? What can I do with this strength? How can I have it benefit me? One of the very, very first things I got by using my intuition is I have not used enough power of Venus energy to in my everyday life. And
so how does it make you feel? When you start activating Venus energy, how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel like I'm standing on the ground with both feet on the ground, and I don't want to say steadfast, but sturdy and strong. That's how it makes me feel. But it also gives me the ability to bend and weave with everything that's going on around me easily, not without any resistance. And it gives me clarity and understanding about who I am. Now, if I don't like something that's going on, I definitely will call in Venus energy for the power, but I also call in Venus energy for the balance, so I can see all sides of any situation.
Because you're all air, because that balance is easy to get out of whack.
Oh,
it doesn't, those scales are just flopping in the wind.
Exactly. You know? And it's not comfortable. But when I started using Venus energy, it really, really, really made a difference. And the other thing that it did was it gave me confidence to understand how to use that energy without really having to, quote, read a book about it. And don't get me wrong, reading a book is great.
So you understand that because it gives her confidence, it doesn't necessarily affect me in the same way.
Correct.
That's why using your intuition is really important. And then just practicing.
Yeah.
You know,
all the time, every day.
Let me give you another example.
Okay.
You know, we take care of my mom. You've probably heard that before. And she's a Pisces, but I also know that she has a Sagittarius moon. And so, but the problem is she has dementia. She can't hear. Her world is very emotional and airy-fairy. She struggles to put her feet on the ground.
She does.
That Neptune energy. I never use Neptune energy for my mom. I use fire or earth, something that grounds her, you know, and she can be practical and figure out, well, you know, if she goes outside and it's cold, she put her jacket on, that sort of thing. Because, you know, when you have dementia, sometimes those things, you know,
go right over the top of your head. Exactly.
You know, she's never been one with a lot of logic, but she follows rules. She was a nurse, so she had to follow rules, but she didn't use a lot of logic when it came to the rules. So,
well, and I'm going to jump in and say, when I'm dealing with your mom, one of the things I found, and this has been just recently for me, is if I call in Venus energy for me and ask for that balance, then I will get a better understanding of how to deal with her and her emotionality, not to mention my emotionality.
So for me, you know, I've got Sagittarius, which is fire, as my sun sign, and my ascending sign is Aries, which is Mars.
Right.
I've had this intuitive block to using too much Mars. You know, for me personally, you know, I don't need to be more aggressive. I don't need to be more out there. I don't need to fight more. I don't need any of that.
Right.
And so I haven't used a lot of that. I have used, my moon sign is Pluto, rules Scorpio, you know, Scorpio. It's ruled by Pluto.
Right.
And I use that for healing inside, internal healing.
Right.
That Pluto energy feels really cooling to me.
Right.
It's a water sign. You know, all that fire gets, you know, I get emotional and hot. So that Pluto is kind of a cooling to me.
Right.
But those examples are very specific to us.
Right. Well, but I have another one.
Okay.
Just one more. And I think this is a practical use of not only planetary energies, but also the sun. We live 30 miles from a real grocery store, I'll say it that way. And so we go to town once every 2 weeks, gas and time and all of those things, all of that's part of that. And but when I go shopping, I need to make sure that I have everything, that I need to make sure I know what I need to get. Yes, I do use a list, but the other thing I do is that as I'm approaching the grocery store, I will call in the balance of Libra energy and and Mercury energy, which is Gemini, so that I will be objective and go into the store and see all of the things that I need to get. And if they're out of something to that effect, then I can just take a breath and go, okay, what can I use this as a substitute? And then also using sun energy to light my way in this maze puzzle of what I have to do in usually a very short period of time. It's really awesome because I rarely miss something in the grocery store.
So the bottom line is that when you start practicing with planetary energies,
correct,
what you just start to know how they feel.
Exactly. And it's amazing.
For all of you people that understand astrology, it's way too complicated trying to figure it out that way. Take it in, use it, and see how it feels.
Exactly. So, Jason, what is the quick tip for this segment?
Sun energy can be very valuable energy to use on a day-to-day basis. It's great for confidence, courage, attention, and empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
To determine which planetary energies to use, start with your sun, moon, and ascending sign if it's known. Otherwise, just the sun sign. Right. Use planetary energies that relate to your specific need and focus in the moment. The most important point is when using planetary energies is to practice and use your intuition.
Correct.
See which energies feel good to you, which energies work for you. Develop your intuition using the ecosystem approach and apply it to those planetary energies.
Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to help you activate sun energy and learn about the elements and how to apply planetary energies in the best way. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to help you see the sun and how to use the planetary energies regarding not only who you are, but how to use them.
Apply them in the best way.
I was going to say, and apply them in the very, very, very best way. So one of the things we didn't get a chance to do because we've had so much fun talking about so many different things today is we're going to teach you real fast how to do the clearing or removing of negative energy that blocks all of us. And this is basically one of the best things about the ecosystem approach that we do.
So today we're going to remove some negative energy. We're going to activate sun energy. Then we're going to activate life force like we always do.
Yes.
And so when you're eliminating something, we use a different verb. So we start with, I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate. Doesn't matter if you're sitting, standing, laying down, walking. You can do this. You can do this in your you can talk this to yourself.
Right.
You don't have to say it out loud.
Yeah, in your mind's eye.
In your mind's eye. And then when we say to eliminate, gather it up in your body, blow it into the processor. Sierra's going to put the picture of the processor up. It goes in the top there. It gets processed. It comes out neutral.
Yeah.
So that's for removing negative energy.
Right.
To activating sun energy.
Yes.
You, instead of saying and to eliminate, we say to activate sun energy.
You're going to pull it in through the top of your head, let it go all the way to the tips of your toes. You're going to stop it right there. You're going to turn it around and you're going to ask it to help you remove more negative energy, because we know, all of us, we have way too much negative energy, not only around us, but in us. And it's one of the things that we do really, really well. So with all of that said, Jason, let's rock and roll.
Here we go. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that the sun is the most powerful energy and can be useful for me every day.
I love it. Take a breath.
Take the veils and illusions.
And throw them away. And to eliminate, I'm going to shorten it up just a little bit, and to eliminate the stress, anxiety, and overwhelm that I have that could be overcome, by empowering myself using sun energy. Nice and easy. Pull it in and now blow any negative energy out, meaning stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. Jason?
And to eliminate the veils and illusions. So I can see that sun energies helps with confidence, courage, and clarity, and to create action.
Yes.
So take those veils and illusions so you can remember this,
yes.
And know that you can use sun energy for confidence, courage, clarity, and action. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the compulsion to use formulas and worldly advice instead of planetary energies, especially the sun. Nice and easy. Get rid of all those veils and illusions and compulsions, to use formulas. You don't need them.
There's always this, you do this and you'll get this, do this and you get this. A lot of times those don't work.
Remember how unique we all are.
So take that energy and to make happen what you need to have happen.
Yes.
So here we go. And to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that sun energy can be helpful to me, but if used in excess can seriously burn me.
Yeah. And not just physically,
but metaphorically. Yes.
Metaphorically, exactly. And to eliminate the barriers, so I can see that using the ecosystem approach is the best way to activate my intuition to determine the best planetary energies to use, meaning learn to listen and to what your intuition is telling you, and clear any blocks that are blocking you from being able to use your intuition. Nice and easy. Negative energies, get rid of them, throw them away.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see the elements of astrology of earth, water, fire, and air. Help me determine the planetary energies to use.
Yes.
Take a breath.
Blow out. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see I should use my intuition versus logic and astrology knowledge to choose the best planetary energies to use. In other words, use your intuition. It's amazing.
See how it feels. Yeah.
It's just amazing. Pull it in. Now blow out any negative energies that are blocking you from that intuition. Jason, let's activate some sun energy.
So it's almost the same. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate sun energy so I can have empowerment and the confidence that it brings. Do that right.
Yes. Let it go all the way in. I'm going to shorten it up just a little bit and activate sun energy so I can be more courageous and forceful and shine in my life, starting right now. Pull it in. Oh, I like that one. That just feels so good. Go ahead.
And to activate sun energy to fix the problems and issues I have by being bold and strong.
Nice. Pull it in. By the way, we're not talking about using fists here.
Yeah.
And to activate sun energy to come up with life solutions with courage and empowerment. Think about that one. It's pretty cool. Nice and easy. Pull it in. Sun. And blow out any negative energies left over. Jason?
And to activate sun energy to expand my perspective by applying its light so I can see all the aspects of my life.
Yes. Pull it in. Now, we're going to activate some life force energy. And we do that, yes, as a balance, but we have so many things we can use to better ourselves and better our world around us. And it goes like this. And to activate life force energy so I can have hope to use all the planetary energies in the best way for me for the rest of my life. Pull it in and blow out any negative energies left over. Jason?
And to activate life force so I can have hope to use all the planetary energies in the best way for me for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. And to activate life force so I can trust that the power of the sun can be used for me without getting burned or hurt. Take a breath. Pull it in.
and to activate life force energy so I can decide to use sun energy and all the planetary energies using my intuition to guide me going forward.
I love it. Pull it in and blow it out. And to activate life force energy so I can be happy and healthy and have clarity, awareness, and objectivity, creativity, have laughter and love and fun, but also have the ability to see what planetary energies in any given moment, including the sun, are in my highest and best interest. Pull it in and blow it out. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
Trauma.
Trauma.
Using the ecosystem approach.
Okay.
We all have trauma. Sometimes they're little ones, sometimes they're big ones.
Yes.
What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
It's a perfect time to understand how to do that.
Okay.
And it's a strong word, but we all have different traumas, and there's ways to use energy, including planetary energies, to help you with trauma. So we'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
So if today, if listening today, you said, "Oh my gosh, I need to use planetary energies. I want to use sun energy. I want to use these tools in my life." Here's what you do. First, go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org, and sign up for a free section. You get our weekly newsletter. We don't sell your email, any of that. But we give you the clearings every week, and it's all written out for you. The picture of the processor, it's all there.
I love it. Absolutely.
And then listen to our show every week.
Right.
Go to our Facebook page to do that, and you could theecosystemapproach.org. We have all of our videos there. Like us while you're there. We'd appreciate that. And it's that simple.
Okay. We'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.